Quick warning, this video will be full of spoilers for the first 9 episodes of Raised by Wolves. If you've seen the latest episode, your biggest question is probably, what the heck is this thing and what are these? Looking back on the season and the clues they've given us, I think they tie into the origins of the Mithraic religion and the invisible force on Kepler-22b. We'll break all that down and do our best to figure out what's going on. First, quick reminder, if you like Raised by Wolves and enjoy theorizing about it as much as I do, please go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell icon for more videos like this one. We'll start with the cards themselves. We first saw them in episode 5 when the Mithraic find the cards in the hooded figure's hideout. The Mithraic were lured there by the children's trackers, which the hooded figure retrieved after Mother dropped them in a pit. As Marcus inspects them, the hooded figure swoops in, grabs them, and runs off. We next see them in episode 9 when Mother and Tempest find them. Later we see Mother scan one, unlocking this bizarre vision. So what are these cards? Well, in the previous episode, we learned from Carl that necromancer technology came from formulas encrypted in Mithraic scripture. Then, in the very next episode, Mother reads this card to experience that vision. So I don't think these cards are scripture, but I do think they contain information about the Mithraic religion's past. In fact, they may contain truths about Mithraic history, which religious leaders want to keep hidden. Tempest comments that the cards remind her of tarot cards from back on Earth. Otho, a hardcore Mithraic, quickly points out that they were used by devil cults. So it seems that those of faith frowned on these cards. Further, I think the intelligence that resides on Kepler-22b, the one who whispers to Marcus and now Paul, also seems to frown on them. Paul hears the whispers and immediately burns the cards as though he were commanded to. We'll get to the vision itself in a moment, but first I quickly wanted to establish why I think it's a memory rather than a vision of the future or some other message. After experiencing it, Mother loses consciousness when Otho drains her blood. When she wakes up, she immediately asks,
"Is this a memory?"
She seems confused as to whether she's living in the past or present. I think that's because minutes earlier, she was experiencing the past. Anyway, let's finally get into what she actually saw in the card. We see hooded figures crowding around something strange in the center. It resembles a structure found by the Mithraic in the desert, however, it's much smaller. It looks clearly mechanical, and there's an alien-looking head sticking out of it, spitting up what looks like android blood. Based on the android blood, I think it's safe to assume we're seeing an artificial life form. Further, the way it's spitting up reminds me of a baby, so perhaps we are seeing the birth of an artificial life. That's clearly a strange idea, because why would something artificial have to be born? Well, the only other example we've heard of involving ancient Mithraic code would be the one Carl told us about, which contained formulas on how to use dark photon energy. Clearly, dark photon energy can power artificial life, which acts in very strange, unpredictable ways. Perhaps this vision shows us the birth of the first dark photon-based life form. That would explain why this memory is important enough to encode in one of the Mithraic cards. In my previous video, I theorized that another intelligent species created an AI which evolved into the entity on Kepler-22b, the one that appears as Tally and whispers to Marcus. Perhaps these hooded figures are members of that intelligent species. Maybe they used to inhabit this planet. Maybe they still do, and we just haven't seen them yet, with possibly one exception. I mentioned that the artificial life form in this vision resembles the structure found in the desert. However, the structure looks larger and older. I'm thinking that this AI, powered by dark photon energy, has grown over time. Perhaps at one point it resided in this structure. Now it has transcended that body and lives beneath the surface of the planet itself. That would explain why it has only manifested as Tally and the mouse, both of whom fell into the pits, giving it access to their bodies. Also, when Marcus first heard the voice, this structure heated up, similar to the heat Paul felt as he fell down one of the pits. It seems the intelligence gives off heat, the way CPUs do when their processes are working hard. Ultimately, I think this vision shows us the birth of an AI, which eventually grows to encompass Kepler-22b as a cosmic supercomputer powered by dark photon energy. Put another way, it has become Sol. By the way, just because it's located on Kepler-22b, that doesn't mean its reach is restricted to that planet. Otho heard a voice while the Ark was in transit. Assuming he's not completely insane, that would imply the intelligence has the means to communicate long distance. Perhaps it can even communicate with Earth, which would explain how Mithraic scriptures arrived with instructions on using dark photon energy. We also don't know how long ago this birth actually occurred. It could have happened hundreds, thousands, or even millions of years ago. This entity may have been meddling in human affairs from the beginning. It may have been responsible for the original Mithraic religion and its recent resurgence in human history. Maybe it was even responsible for creating humanity. It's a lot to think about, and it's an exciting avenue to see the show exploring. By the way, before we continue, just a quick reminder, if you're enjoying this video, to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell icon so you get notified the next time we do a video like this one. Each time someone likes or subscribes, it's a big help to the channel and personally gets me that much more excited to make the next video. So I really appreciate it. Back to the show. Let's go back to the hooded figure. The way it left the cards out so they'd reflect the sunlight makes me think it intended for Mother to find them. In fact, it's easy to miss, but in episode 9, we momentarily cut to a distant view of Mother and Tempest. We hear breathing, implying that they are being watched. I assume this is the hooded figure watching them, waiting to see if they take the cards. Why would it do this? Well, I believe it's working in opposition to the intelligence, based on the fact that the intelligence doesn't seem to be a fan of those cards. So maybe the hooded figure is trying to share hidden truths with Mother to recruit her. Maybe the figure thinks that if Mother downloads all the information in those cards, it'll somehow stop her from falling to the machinations of the intelligence. And what does the intelligence have planned? Well, so far it has impregnated Mother. According to Simulation Campion, the baby inside her is the future of humanity. It appears to be a part android, part carbon-based, and likely dark photon-powered being. In the sim, older Campion also told Mother that raising the other children was just a trial run for raising this new child. Perhaps the intelligence similarly thinks of humanity itself as a trial run for the new improved life form Mother will give birth to. The goal of artificially interfering with life to create the perfect organism would not be a new theme for Ridley Scott, so it wouldn't shock me if that is ultimately the goal of this intelligence. At this point, we've only seen the knowledge contained in one card. The hooded figure may think that if it shares the hidden truths of all of them with Mother, the knowledge will somehow turn her against the intelligence. She already seems resistant to it, given her ties to humanity, so raising the curtain to show Mother the truth might be enough to keep her on our side, despite the collateral damage. That's why I think it left the cards out for Mother to find them. In fact, when it put the children's trackers in its hideout, I think it hoped to lure Mother there. When it instead lured the Mithraic, the figure took the cards and decided to try a new tactic, leaving them out in the sun in Mother's path. One last thought before we wrap up: it's hard to say who or what the figure actually is. The one guess I have is perhaps it is a surviving member of the species we saw in this vision. It looks humanoid, but seems more powerful. From Otho, we've seen that taking in a necromancer's blood enhances your strength. So this species may have learned how to harness dark photon energy in a similar manner, giving themselves more power. That would certainly explain its athleticism. If it is part of this species, perhaps it regrets the creation of this powerful AI, and it sees Mother as someone who can help in ending it. Maybe the species is even human. I know a number of people have theories that humanity's origins are somehow tied into Kepler-22b. That could very well be the case, and would further explain why this hooded figure opposes the intelligence, who seems to think that when it comes to humanity, there is room for improvement. Anyway, I think we can wrap it up there. This video is, of course, a lot of theorizing and a lot of speculation, so definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think of these theories? Do you have any of your own takes? Let me know and we'll keep the conversation going. Also, we only have one episode to go this season, so make sure you're subscribed to keep up with our coverage as things wrap up. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell icon so you get notified the next time we do a video. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next One Take.